Hello everyone. Welcome to the listening lesson. My name is May. It's good to see you again. How are you getting on? Good? So I hope you are all ready for the lesson today. Now, let's get down to checking the homework assignment first. The first topic is biology. In total, there are 5 blanks for you to complete. Now, what is the first answer? Yes, that's right. It is humans. Then we have vitamin D. Next is calcium. The fourth one is benefits. And the last one is feel happy. Now let's move on to the next topic, history. The professor talks about how certain things can represent. The next one is held prisoners. It was a sign of the king's power. The fourth one is the inmates. And the last one must be freedom. Can you get what the third topic is? Yes, that's right. It is also about history. Now for the first blank, which word is that? Yes, it is northeastern. Next we have Japan, and then how people relate to. The first one is harmony, and the last one is businesses. The last topic is office hours. Now let's check the answers for this topic. The first one is summer courses. Then we have online courses. The third one is too expensive. The student could actually save money and graduate. And the last one is classroom experience. Before we start our lesson, let's play a game. It is called Scramble Word. So you are given 5 minutes to unscramble the letters to find words which can be understood and read. Okay, are you ready? So let's get started. Have you got the answers? Okay, now let's check together. So, as you can see from the phonetic symbols, can you guess the word? Yes, that's right. The word is descend. Descend means come from or originate from. The next word is refute. So when you refute something, it means you argue against something to show that something is wrong. This word often collocates with argument or theory. Therefore, we have some useful collocations, such as to refute an argument or to refute a theory. Can you get what the third word is? Wonderful. It is staple. Staple is a basic, necessary food or product. So now, I want you to list the food staple in our daily life. What are they? They are broccoli, wheat, milk, and vegetables. What about the next word? Yes, it is expanse. Expanse refers to a wide open area of something, usually land or water. There are some adjectives that can go with this word. They are vast or wide. For instance, we can say a wide expanse of land or a vast expanse of blue sky. The next word begins with the letter I. So what is it? Yes, it is inevitably. Inevitably is certainly, or unavoidably. Now let's see what is the next word. From the phonetic symbols, can you guess what it is? Exactly, it is carrier. Carrier refers to a company that carry goods or passengers from one place to another, especially by air. The next word is fluctuation. Fluctuation is changes over a short period of time. And the last word is administer. So administer refers to the act of managing or controlling. For example, I can say to administer a school, a fund, or charity. Now, let's go through the words together. Descend, refute, staple, expense, inevitably, carrier, fluctuation, administer. You're gonna have 5 minutes to copy down these words into your notebook. Today's lesson is all about reviewing and practicing, so I hope you are all well prepared for this. Here comes the first topic, which is anthropology. You are going to listen to a lecture in an anthropology class. But before you listen, I want you to have a quick look at the question and underline the key words. You have 2 minutes for this. Let's get started. Your time is up. You will listen to the recording twice. Are you ready? Let's listen.
Mini Test 1. 1. Anthropology. Listen to a lecture in an anthropology class.
For last night's homework, I asked you to read a couple of myths from both the Mayans and the Aztecs. You'll remember that the Mayan and the Aztec civilizations were two of the largest empires in what we now call Latin America.
They both have a great reverence for corn, they both place a lot of importance on sacrifice, and they both have similar creation myths. But why do you all think this is? Why are there so many similarities in the mythologies between two cultures that were so distinct? One of the first theories about why Mayan and Aztec mythology are so similar is that they must have descended from the same group of people. That is, anthropologists believe that since they share all this mythology, they must have once been part of the same tribe that just diverged, split up at different points. But you know, there's a lot of evidence that refutes this theory. First, anthropologists have been able to reconstruct hundreds of years of history for the Mayans by studying the architecture and tools they left behind. In fact, they estimate that the Mayan civilization got started somewhere around 1800 BCE. Aztec civilization, meanwhile, dates back only 700 years. The exact origin of either culture has still not been determined, but one thing is sure. These two civilizations probably came from two distinct times, though they did exist at the same time for a while. So if that's not it, then we're still left with the question about why their mythologies are so similar. Here's something I want you to consider. The Mayans and the Aztecs inhabited completely different territories. The Mayans were found in the western and southern parts of modern Mexico, as well as Belize, Guatemala, and El Salvador. The Aztecs, on the other hand, lived in central Mexico. But the thing is that they did come into contact quite frequently. There was some trade between the Mayans and Aztecs, and it's believed that in the course of these negotiations, some of their beliefs were transferred. This could easily account for why sometimes archaeologists will find statues of Mayan gods in Aztec territory or vice versa. Something else that I think is significant is the fact that even if they inhabited different territories, both cultures moved around over a large expanse of land. What does this mean? Well, it means that they probably ended up seeing a lot of the same landscapes while they wandered around. Remember that the mythology of any culture is heavily influenced by the world around them.
So, for example, if both the Mayans and the Aztecs saw that sometimes the land produced, and at other times it didn't, they were bound to incorporate the importance of those conditions into their mythologies.
Does that make any sense to you all? Or just to give another example, if they understood that corn was a staple of their diets, which it was for both cultures, by the way, corn would inevitably have some significance in their mythology.
1. What is the lecture mainly about? 2. What theory about the Mayans and Aztecs does the professor support? 3. According to the professor, which of the following statements is true? 4. Which modern countries are in the same areas the Mayans used to live? Choose 2 answers. 5. What was a result of the trade relationship between the Aztecs and the Mayans? 6. According to the professor, what food staple did the Mayans and Aztecs have in common?
Now, you should pause the video for a moment to finish off your test. You're gonna have 3 minutes for this. Okay, let's check the answers together. Now, question number 1. What is the lecture mainly about? Can you hear this in the recording? Why are there so many similarities in the mythologies between 2 cultures that were so distinct? So the answers for question number 1 is C. Question number 2. What theory about the Mayans and Aztecs does the professor support? So, what the professor thinks significant is that both cultures moved around a large expanse of land. They probably ended up seeing a lot of the same landscapes. So the answer is B. Next, according to the professor, which of the following statements is true? These 2 civilizations probably came from 2 distinct times. So distinct, it means different. So the answer is D. Number 4. Which modern countries are in the same areas the Mayans used to live? For these questions, you need to choose 2 answers. In the recording, the Mayans were found in the western and southern parts of modern Mexico, as well as Belize, Guatemala, and El Salvador. So the correct answers are A and B. Question number 5. What was a result of the trade relationship between the Aztecs and the Mayans? There was some trade between the Mayans and the Aztecs, and it is believed that in the course of these negotiations, some of their beliefs were transferred. The answer is absolutely C. For the last question, according to the professor, what food staple did the Mayans and Aztecs have in common? As you can see, they both have a great reference for corn. Corn would inevitably have some significance in their mythology. The answer for this question is A. Corn. So let's move on to the next topic, which is about business. Again, you are given 2 minutes to read the questions and underline the keywords very quickly. 2 minutes start now. So, you are going to listen to a discussion in a business class. You will listen to the recording twice. Now, let's get ready.
2. Business. Listen to a discussion in a business class.
Hi, I'm glad that so many of you made it to this review session. I want to make sure that we go over the material that you guys feel you need reinforcement on. I decided that the best way to do this is to just let you all ask questions, and we'll just go from there. So, as of now, the floor is open.
Okay, here's something that I definitely should have asked earlier in the semester, but here goes. What exactly is a low-cost carrier? I know that it's a pretty recent type of company, but I don't quite understand how they make money.
That's definitely going to be on the test, so I'm glad you got around to asking that. To answer the first part of your question, a low-cost carrier is an airline that cuts out all the extra services. That means no delicious mystery meat for dinner and definitely no first-class service. But this allows them to provide extremely low fares to customers, which is always popular, as you can imagine.
Ah, so they make money by bringing people in with low prices. But that's really only part of it, isn't it? I mean, there's more to the low-cost carrier business model that helps them make money.
Do you remember some of the features of the business model?
Well, I think they're able to cut costs by only operating one kind of plane.
That's a great point. Let me explain. See, by only using one kind of plane, the company is able to save on training costs. Plus, they'll also spend less on maintenance and servicing, and by buying many of the same type of aircraft at once, the airline can negotiate discounts with the manufacturer. Great point. What else?
Don't they also use less busy airports?
Yes, they do. These airports are sometimes referred to as secondary airports. And since secondary airports are usually less busy and not so affected by delays at the major airports, the airline can avoid delays.
Wouldn't they also pay less for landing fees at secondary airports?
Yes, that's also true. Because remember, every time a plane lands at an airport, that airline has to pay a fee to the airport. Now, what else do you think is a significant cost for all airlines in general?
I would say fuel charges.
Good. All airlines, even low-cost carriers, have to worry about the cost of fuel, because it can make operating that much more expensive. But low-cost carriers avoid fluctuations in the price of fuel by incorporating fuel hedging programs.
I know we covered this recently, but what is a fuel hedging program again? Doesn't it mean that they buy fuel in bulk?
Good try, but that's not quite it. An example of a fuel hedging program would be when a company buys fuel in advance at a fixed price so that they won't be subject to changes in the future.
7. What is the main topic of the discussion? 8. What aspect of the business model does the professor mainly discuss? 9. According to the professor, what content will be on the test? 10. By definition, how are low-cost carriers able to provide low fares? 11. What are some of the stated benefits of using only one kind of aircraft? Choose two answers. 12. What is an advantage of using secondary airports? 13. What is fuel hedging?
Have you got the answers? Some say yes and some say no. So you have 3 minutes to finish off the rest of the questions, okay? Now, time's up. Let's check the answers together. Question 7. What is the main topic of the discussion? So, can you hear this in the recording? What exactly is the low-cost carrier? For this question, the answer is D. what a low-cost carrier is and how it works. Next question. What aspect of the business model does the professor mainly discuss? In the recording, it says, "But I don't quite understand how they make money. There's more to the low-cost carrier business model that helps them make money." So, the answer for this question is C. Question number 9. According to the professor, what content will be on the test? So, the content that will be on the test is information about a certain airline business model. Question number 10. By definition, how are low-cost carriers able to provide low fares? From the recording, a low-cost carrier is an airline that cuts out all the extra services. So, the answer is definitely B. Because get rid of has the same meaning with cut out. Question 11. What are some of the stated benefits of using only one kind of aircraft? For this question, you need to choose 2 answers. So as you can see, they will also spend less on maintenance and servicing. The airline can negotiate discounts with the manufacturer. So the answers are A and D. Next question. What is an advantage of using secondary airports? Wouldn't they also pay less for landing fees at secondary airports? Yes, that's also true. The answer for this question is D. And the last question, what is fuel hedging? So, fuel hedging program happens when a company buys fuel in advance at a fixed price. What is your answer for this question? Easy, right? The answer is A. Did you have all the correct answers? Fantastic! Now, let's move on to the next topic, which is also the last one. It's about service encounter. You are going to listen to a conversation between a student and a university employee. First thing first, don't forget to read the question very quickly and underline the keywords. Are you ready to listen? Now, let's get started.
3. Service encounter. Listen to a conversation between a student and a university employee.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. But, well, I have a weird question.
What is it?
I officially graduated last spring, but I'm still kind of working on an independent study project that I started in my senior year. I'm working under a professor, but I guess by the university's standards, I'm not really a student here anymore.
Ah, so you can't use the university libraries. Don't worry, there's a way around that.
What a relief. I was really starting to worry about how I was going to get the rest of my research done.
We actually have a lot of people in similar situations, so we have to find a way to accommodate people. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have a facility like this and not make it available to people like you. Anyway, what you have to do is apply for a non-student pass.
But like I said, I'm kind of a student. Sort of.
Officially you're not, but it's really just a label. You'd get all the same access as a student, and you'll even get to keep your campus email address since all that stuff is actually administered by the library.
That's cool. Well, I'd like to get this processed as soon as possible, so I'd be glad to fill out whatever you need me to.
Okay then. Here's the application. At the bottom, it asks you about your relation to the university. Make sure to note that you're a recent graduate and the name of the professor you're working with. And if you can put a contact number for the professor, that would be even better, because then we can confirm the project faster.
I'm sorry, but I just saw that there's a fee for this. What's that all about?
That's right. I thought I mentioned that. It's basically like a membership fee, and if you think about it, it's a pretty good deal. I mean, access to all campus libraries and the computer network for only $50 a semester. It's really not that bad.
Does that apply even for people in situations like mine? I mean, I'm actually working on this at my professor's request. It just doesn't seem fair that I should have to pay extra at this point.
I'm sorry, but everybody who wants non-student library access has to pay.
14. What are the speakers mainly discussing? 15. What feature of the non-student pass does the librarian mainly discuss? 16. Which of the following is true about the man? 17. Why does the man still need to use the university library? 18. What is a disadvantage to having non-student access?
So, are you confident that you also get all the correct answers for this task? Now it's time to check. Question number 14. What are the speakers mainly discussing? You can't use the university library. Don't worry, there's a way around that. The answer is C. How the student can use the campus libraries. Question number 15. What feature of the non-student pass does the librarian mainly discuss? So you get all the same access as a student, and you even get to keep your campus email address. The answer for this question is B. Question number 16. Which of the following is true about the man? The man officially graduated last spring, so the answer is absolutely C. The question that follows is, why does the man still need to use the university library? He says, but I'm still kind of working on an independent study project. For this question, the correct answer is B. Question number 18. What is a disadvantage to having non-student access? There's a fee for this, and it only costs $50 to gain access to all campus libraries and the computer network. So the answer is B. There is no homework for today's lesson, but don't forget to review what you have learned during the past few weeks, okay? This is the end of the lesson today. Let's wrap things up by saying goodbye. Have a nice day and see you in the next lesson.